Hello and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred today in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things I personally find intriguing enough for me to bring to you. The source of this information comes from the smart device application on this day. The music in the background is Donuts by Jensation, which I found on the YouTube channel No Copyright Sounds, aka NCS. For links to the app, music, and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar. Now let's get on with the show, shall we? Today is Tuesday, aka Tuesday, October 11th, 2016. In 2001, the Polaroid Corporation filed for federal bankruptcy protection. In 2000, the 100th Space Shuttle mission STS-92 using Space Shuttle Discovery launched. In 1987, Operation Pawan started when the Indian Peacekeeping Force murdered thousands of ethnic Tamil civilians and hundreds of Tamil Tigers and Indian Army soldiers in Sri Lanka. Also in 1987, the first public display of the AIDS Memorial quilt on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. occurred during the National March on Washington for Homosexual Rights. In 1986, during the Cold War, U.S. President Ronald Reagan and Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev met in Reykjavik, Iceland, in an effort to continue discussions about scaling back their intermediate missile arsenals in Europe. In 1984, U.S. astronaut Catherine D. Sullivan became the first female from the United States to perform a spacewalk when she exited the Space Shuttle Challenger. In 1976, George Washington was posthumously appointed to the grade of General of the Armies by Congressional Joint Resolution Public Law 94-479, which was approved by President Gerald R. Ford. In 1975, the NBC sketch comedy/variety show Saturday Night Live debuted. In 1972, a race riot occurred on the U.S. Navy aircraft carrier Kitty Hawk off the coast of Vietnam during Operation Linebacker. In 1968, during the Apollo program, NASA launched Apollo 7, becoming the first successful manned Apollo mission, containing astronauts Wally Schirra, Don F. Eseli, and Walter Cunningham. In 1962, during the Second Vatican Council, Pope John XXIII convened the First Ecumenical Council of the Roman Catholic Church in 92 years. In 1958, during the Pioneer program, NASA launched the lunar probe Pioneer 1, which fell back to Earth and burnt up. In 1954, during the First Indochina War, the Viet Minh took control of North Vietnam. In 1950, CBS's mechanical color system became the first to be licensed for broadcasting by the U.S. Federal Communications Commission. In 1944, the Tuvan People's Republic, formerly known as Tanu-Tuva, was annexed by the USSR. In 1918, the 7.1 MW Puerto Rico earthquake shook the island with a maximum Mercalli intensity of 9, which is violent, and caused the deaths of between 76 to 116 people. However, this loss of life and damage was also partially caused by a destructive tsunami that hit the island at the same time. In 1910, former President Theodore Roosevelt became the first U.S. president to fly in an airplane. He flew for 4 minutes with Arch Hogski in a plane built by the Wright brothers at Kinloch Field, known today as Lambert St. Louis International Airport, in St. Louis, Missouri. In 1906, the San Francisco Public School Board sparked a diplomatic crisis between the United States and Japan by ordering Japanese students to be taught in racially segregated schools. In 1890, the Daughters of the American Revolution was founded in Washington, D.C. In 1852, the University of Sydney, Australia's oldest university, was inaugurated in Sydney. In 1811, inventor John Stephenson's boat, the Juliana, began operation as the first steam-powered ferry, serving between New York City, New York, and Hoboken, New Jersey. In 1809, explorer Meriwether Lewis died under mysterious circumstances at an inn called Grinder's Stand along the Natchez Trace in Tennessee. In 1767, surveying for the Mason-Dixon line separating Maryland from Pennsylvania was completed. In 1634, during the Burkhardy flood, the, quote, Second Grote Mandrenike, end quote, caused the deaths of around 15,000 men in North Friesland, Denmark, and Germany. And in 1582, due to the implementation of the Gregorian calendar, this date does not exist in that year in Italy, Poland, Portugal, and Spain. First, Eleanor Roosevelt, 1884. And that concludes the show. Once again, you can check the underbar for any links you may be interested in. Don't forget to look right and left at every intersection. You can also rate 5 thumbs and subscribe if you do so wish. For your dose of past events daily, I am Aeoxander, and you are you. Toodles! However, this loss of life and damage was also partially caused by a destructive tsunami